Hey, it's Alec Drew here on Friday, the 8th of April, and we're just going to talk about initial engagement in 5 steps. And really, what I want to mention about this is we get opportunities from time to time to meet people, and maybe they've been referred to us, maybe it's a call out of the blue, or some other engagement. And really, what I want to do very quickly is take you through some suggestions that might make this a bit better for you. So, without further ado, let me just show you what the agenda is here this morning on this, if I can get my mouse working. There we go. Hang on. Yep. So here's the agenda, the 5 step summary. Here are the 5 steps, and I'll take you through each of them very, very quickly, and hopefully you will find this of use for you going forward. Strangely enough, when we get an opportunity to meet somebody, one of the first questions we should always ask ourselves if this is a decision maker. In many cases, it may not be. So therefore, we'll talk about the purpose of the meeting then afterwards. It may be that they just want to see you. But I think it's important to understand who you are meeting and then what sort of connections you might have with them. They may have been referred to you. You may have some connections with them with LinkedIn. And always we're looking for an opportunity to work with people who either know or trust us or who have been referred by somebody that they trust. So when you do your homework, I suggest just spending a bit of time to see if there are any genuine links there, because you can then introduce that further into the conversation. In terms of the company, you can do a bit of research. Again, it might be as simple as just ringing the department that you might be dealing with and saying, do you mind me asking? And I must say, I always put emphasis on the permission questions, because if you do that, I always find you tend to get a very positive response. So if we took design, for example, and you got onto the marketing department, hi, I'm Alec Drew, I'm Nick Cloak, whoever it is there. Do you mind me asking, I've been invited to a particular meeting with so-and-so. Could you tell me who is supplying that service for you already? At the worst, they'll say no. At the best, they'll say yes. But what you're trying to find out is who the competition is before you even get going. Now, you might be able to find that out by just doing a Google search, but try and find out who it is. One of my clients had been asked by a fairly large company here to meet up with them to supply their particular service. Now, they were aware that there was already an incumbent there. But from doing a bit of research, what they discovered was that the sort of cultural difference between their offering and the incumbent was a very, very aggressive seller. And what the client, and the reason for the meeting was that the client was unhappy with this sort of mode of selling. So from my client's research, it certainly gave them a way in, and now they're doing business with this particular company. Also find out about the supplier. Who are they? What is their culture? What is their methodology? What are they offering that you're not offering? Again, this is just a quick troll of their website to see what they're doing and how they're doing it and what separates you and what makes you different to what they're offering. Again, a lot of people turn up to a meeting without any sort of plan in place. So if this is not a decision maker, okay, that's fine. We're going to have a discussion, and really what you're going to be trying to elicit is, what are they trying to find out? Hopefully it is a decision maker. And what you're again trying to find out is, what the agenda is it here. Is it just literally an initial engagement meeting? So if it's not a decision maker, it may be somebody just screening you to get you to meet with somebody else. Or if it's a decision maker, maybe they have something that's relevant for you and that there is some real business on the table. Certainly it's worth asking if they want a presentation. Now, I have a complete other talk around presentations, so I'm not going to go into it now. Typical presentations are all about you and how brilliant you are. And to be quite honest, potential clients don't care. They will have done some research on you. So if you're going to do a presentation, or if you've one coming up in the next week or so, give me a shout separately and I'll talk you through a separate methodology that is much more simple and more engaging, that gives you a better opportunity to get some real business from it. I think also you should have in your mind, what's the ideal outcome of this? So we now know who we're meeting. We know if they're the decision maker or not. We know a bit about the company. We know a bit about the incumbents or potential people there that we might be competing against. So what is the outcome from this meeting? For example, are we looking for a further meeting to meet a decision maker? Are we looking for more information? Are we just looking to be put on a supplier list? What are we looking for? And I think if you kind of go in with that in your mind, you will have a clearer outcome in terms of the questioning that you're going to be asking. The meeting itself, it's very, very important to respect people's time. And I think one of the best questions always to ask is, as the meeting starts, do you mind, and I'm back into the permission question, do you mind very much if I ask you, how are you for time? Oh, I've just got a half an hour. Or yes, I've blocked in an hour. Fantastic. If nothing else, you've shown your respect for their time just by asking that question, and subliminally they'll pick that up. I think that's very, very important. In terms of the research, the small talk, you can talk about things. I would avoid politics, certainly, and religion and sport if you can. They're the three no-nos generally. But the small talk, and the small talk could be very much about, as I found meeting a potential client recently, I had met them about 20 years ago in Dublin Chamber. So I had a chat with them about, I haven't seen you in Dublin Chamber, blah, blah, blah. How have you been doing since? And let them talk about their business. People are delighted to talk about themselves. It's their favorite topic. So just open up that conversation and get them to talk about themselves, or to link them to people that you know. Oh, I haven't seen John, I haven't seen Paula for ages. Do you meet them regularly? Oh, yes, I do. How are they getting on? Are they married? Whatever it is. But to have some of the small talk, and this sort of breaks the ice in terms of dealing with people and makes them more settled. And if you have a notebook with you, I wouldn't have it open and be sitting there waiting to take notes. I'll show you how we'll introduce that in just a second. Do you mind me asking, you've asked me to call to you. Is there something in particular on your mind? Now we're trying to find out the reason for the meeting. More than likely, they'll start opening up about that. If they do, yes, we're having a challenge around this, we're doing that. I think the best question always to ask is, what is your biggest challenge at the moment in relation to, say, design, HR, accountancy, whatever it is? What is your biggest challenge around that? And the most important thing to do then is to shut up, to say nothing. Don't fill the empty space. Let them think. They will think, and they'll come back with something. This now gives you the opportunity to start asking more open questions about it. Again, the permission question. Do you mind if I take a few notes? People usually are quite happy with that, but I can't overemphasize the permission piece of this, because you start making people feel more comfortable. The open questions and what you're trying to elicit from them here is, why the meeting? What is the challenge? And what is the impact of this on you or the company? And let them expand it out. Let them pour themselves out in front of you so that you fully understand what it is that's really hurting them, why they've got you here, and why they think you might be somebody who can solve this problem for them. And the more you can get answers to, the better you will be prepared to respond to them. In terms of the impact, the ideal impact you're trying to find out is there a financial impact? Yeah, we reckon if we had the right solution in your area, we could make 50,000 a year extra in sales. Fantastic. So therefore, if you're going to produce any sort of proposal that's 2, 3, 4, 5,000, even up to 10,000, it makes financial sense if they're going to make 50,000 out of it. So you're looking for a financial impact on it. On the other side of it, the impact may be, I'm working 12 hours a day. I'm not getting a proper night's sleep. I'm having all sorts of other issues. Again, this may be more relevant if you're providing well-being help or yoga or something like that, to understand the impact it's having on them. Perhaps they don't have the mobility that they wish they had. They're not enjoying family life. The family are getting excluded. So really you're trying to elicit from them the real pain points that they're going through. And you want to expand that out as much as possible and to get the best that you can so that you have the correct answers. As we come to the close of the meeting, and it's quite obvious, again, if they said you have an hour or a half an hour, be conscious of the time that's running past. So certainly 5 minutes before the end, again say to them, I see that we're heading towards the end of the time you've blocked off here. Oh, thanks very much. Do you mind if I confirm my understanding of the challenges that you've given to me? And just a quick recap. What they said, and say it back to them. You should see them nodding at this stage. Yeah, yeah, sure, that's right. Yeah. So what you've proven now is you've listened intently to what they've said. You've taken the correct notes on it. Have I missed anything, or have I misunderstood anything? It is a sort of validation question around that. So we've agreed that. We're coming to the end of the meeting. Now agree the next step. What did they want to happen? Is it a case of they want you to, I think we should have a further meeting about that. If that is the case, I suggest you get out your diary, electronic or real, and say to them, yes, let's do that. How are you fixed for? And find a date and find a time that they will lock into. That's important, because if they see you doing it in front of them, they now mentally are making a commitment to that next time or date that you're going to do. If you say it's about a proposal, yes, I'll have it for you within 24, 48 hours, whatever it is. But whatever it is, make sure you write it down, and that they see you writing it down, and there's a clear understanding of the next stage of it. Thank them. Summary. Confirm what you're going to do next. I will send you a proposal within 48 hours. It may be a case that you can't, that you're going to have to wait for maybe third parties to actually give you costs on something else. So you might have to wait 48, 72 hours. Whatever it is, manage their expectations. People are living in the here and now. They have a need for instant gratification. So it's about managing people's expectations. Certainly when you get back to your office, send them an email, thank them for the meeting, and tell them when you will be back to them with either the proposal or what we've agreed for the next date and what we're going to do. Most importantly, make sure that you do the follow-up. Follow up when you said you'd follow up, and keep them tabbed. Put them into your CRM system. Do whatever you have to do there. Of course, in the whole meeting, it's the 80-20 rule. Let them speak for 80% of the time and you for only 20% of the time. And again, keep the engagement opening. In terms of the proposal, I gave a talk on proposals there recently. If any of you missed that and want to talk to me separately about it, I'm only too happy to give you a brief overview of that.